good afternoon, or good evening, or good morning, wherever you are. Big shout out to everyone who tuned in last week and commented, liked, subscribed, and checked the video out. It's gone really well. You obviously love jungle, you obviously love drum and bass, some of you, and the processing to that. So following on from last week's Iridium video, we're going to stick with bass, and I'm going to show you how you can get a really fat bass in Cubase 15. That's the latest version of Cubase, and this is the Cubase Pro, by the way, if anyone wants to know. And of course, it's out now. So let's have a look. Okay, so here's my track that was in the intro, and obviously you had a quick look. We'll listen to it again.
If you can't control your own brain,
So you get the idea. This is out now for some good friends, Jungle Raiders in Switzerland. I did a remix for their EP. I'm going to put it on the comments below. It's out on Bandcamp now. So, yep, if you want to check it out, if you want to buy it, it's up there now. Okay, so we're dealing with bass. How did I get the basses fat in this? Because they're quite, yeah, the sub's really kicking some weight in there. And the Reese has got that kind of nice bite, which I really like. So, of course, these are resample from hardware, all that kind of stuff, but in the box, how will you get it sounding big in the box? There's nothing else processed there, even though I have loads of hardware gear. This is literally just me using plugins and processing and the power of hybrid in the box kind of workflow. Okay, so there's the sub bass, just an 808. I got it here. I'm going to solo it, I'm going to cycle it, and here you can hear it on its own. You might have to get your headphones on there. So this is the chain that I use for that. So it's going through a few processes here. So first of all, Imager with an FX Send Bit Crusher, which is a really old VST plugin, which is probably hard to find now because they don't really make it anymore. It's not supported. It's a 32-bit wrapped plugin. But if you don't, there's also this one as well, which is the Cubase built-in Bit Crusher, which is also great. I'm actually using a combination of the two to give it the sort of sound. We'll delve in a second. That's going into Rift, which is a brilliant distortion, multi-band distortion plugin. Can do so many things, modulate parameters, make your own presets. You can randomize, clip in, soft and hard, wavefold. Really, really powerful plugin. Big shout out to the Minimal Audio chaps for this one, because I absolutely love this plugin. Going to do a video on it at some point in the near future. I've also shown Current as well previously. So I'm using it in simple mode. So this is like the play mode. There's obviously a really advanced tab in the engine view where you can really dig deep. But yeah, we'll come back to that in a second. But this is, yeah, a great plugin. So then the Rift is then going into Black Valve, which is one of the latest sort of Cubase, or the newer Cubase plugins in the Cubase ecosystem. Great plugin. So it's obviously based on hardware. It's got that Valve kind of sound. You can drive things, you can gain things. You have peak reduction, or you also have parallel processing, so you can actually mix the wet with the dry and impart how much sort of harmonics and saturation you want, as well as being a sort of compressor as well. So it has a sound, and it's really good for getting a kind of grip on sort of like basses. And of course, you have the output tab, so you can actually then gain stage, or if you want to drive things more after you've controlled it. Then it's going into supervision. Amazing plugin. If you want me to show it in depth, I can. So this is like this is the Steinberg multi-window analysis suite for Cubase. So you can actually control you can look at your loudness, your waveform size, your metering, 5.1, ambisonics, everything in here. So it's great for analysis. And the great thing about it is because all windows are tabbable and it's resizable, and all the other things that you can do, you can actually create your own customized suite. So this is mine for like basses and sound, so I can see how loud it might be, checking out the mono capabilities. I can actually see the oscilloscope, sort of the waveform size, and if it's clipping or if it's really rounding off things too much. Powerful plugin, very, very powerful. And of course, you can use it for mixing, and of course, it's essential for mastering. Okay, so let's go through the getaway. So here it is without the plugins. Even turn the send off as well. With plugins. Really cool. So if you look at it here, you can see the harmonics creeping in here as well, and that's coming from the bit crushers. So let's one by one show you what these are all doing. So images on here, really simple. I've made everything under about 150 hertz mono, and that just gives me clean mixing. And with bass, I don't want it overlapping into any other frequency ranges. I want it just down the middle mono. Been doing this for generations because I'm that old. But even for vinyl mastering, it's really essential as well. I do a lot of vinyl mastering. But yeah, all your bass is kind of in mono, as mono as you can. Definitely don't do reverb on your sub basses, that is for certain. Okay, so great plugin. Does exactly what it says on the tin. It's the only plugin I kind of know that kind of does this. It's built into Cubase as well. So yeah, Imager, killer plugin. I cannot live without this plugin. So Imager's going into Bit Crusher, and Bit Crusher's literally doing what it says on the tin. It's literally crushing all the bit rate of the sound, so you can go from hi-fi to lo-fi, and then you have a parallel knob, which fader, which is amazing to be able to control how much wet and dry you're actually imparting to the signal, and you have a sample divider, which is obviously the depth and bit rate that you're bringing it down. You'd have different modes, and you can then obviously drive that as well. So it's actually really, really powerful. So listen to this. It's on 4% at the moment. Now here's the harmonics. Let's have a look at it. Look at that. More. I mean, obviously that's probably way too much, but the fact that you can do that, and the way I always say it is and explain it to people, especially when I'm doing seminars and trainings, is sometimes you have a sub bass, you want to hear the sub bass as well as feel the sub bass, and this gives you that harmonics on the sub, but still keeping the sub, if you know what I mean, because the harmonics are only affecting from like 500 up onwards. So you're actually adding something that wasn't there, which is nice, but keeping your low end intact. And of course, like any other plugins in Cubase or anything else, you can over-process, you can overdo things. So I'm just going to dial it back down to where it was, which is about 4 or 5%. And that's great, because now we're getting a nice balance between the bass and the harmonics. So it's just lingering in there, which is perfect. And this bit crusher on the bits end is also doing the same kind of thing. It's literally the same plugin, but an old VST2 one. So I don't particularly need that, but I've always like had it for years on mixing it and stuff. But Bit Crusher on its own can do the same thing. You could also put it on an effects end as well. It just means that on here you could just maybe drive some values more, because it's technically doing the same thing. How much you're crunching it by. So yeah, so you don't really particularly have to look for this plugin. Anyway, it's called FX Bit Crusher, and I can put a link in the description anyway. But yeah, it's going through JBridge and the wrapping and all that kind of stuff, and that is quite a convoluted process, to be honest. But yeah, my friend Dom's got a video on old VST plugins. If you want to check that out, he did that last week, and he's showing you some of these plugins from the early 2000s, and this is definitely early 2000s. So anyway, moving on. So this is going into Rift. Now Rift, I haven't driven it too much in Rift because you can go crazy with this. But in a nutshell, this is the player mode where you can actually choose the clipping. You can then choose in the player mode what type of clipping, noise, bit depth, wavefold, sample rate, which was shown in the Bit Crusher. We've even got a redux mode. You know, it's crazy. And obviously then wave shaping, wet and dry. And this is more like the simple overlay mode. Current's also the same. It's great for being able to have easy access, quick and easy access to the default sort of bread and butter parameters. But then when you want to go deep in there, you can actually either, for instance here, you can shuffle modes, which is great. You can randomize parameters. You can also you can even randomize the presets, which is great. But you go into a deeper mode here, and then you can really, you know, you can go in and here, you can just everything, every panel will really change something in the sound. So yeah, as I would say with this plugin, save as you go along. As you find something, save it, because you can easily just tweak something and then the whole feel for everything's gone. But because it's a sub and we're not doing too much, I just want drive and harmonics more bit more power. It's simple. I go into simple mode here, positive shape, and I like the fact you can see the shape. You can see what it's doing to the sound. I'm squaring it off. Now, this is a really dangerous thing to do, because when you're squaring off a sub, you can see what it's doing there. A sub is a sine wave. you know, which is quite curved. And yes, you can add some saturation and some clipping and some shaping, but then the sign then becomes square, and then you lose bottom end, you lose that dynamic and punch. So I like the fact you can see it here, but also in supervision. If I open supervision here, I can see it. So we have all the metering analysis. I can see it's mono. This one's really cool. This oscilloscope here, I can see, yeah, it's really crushed. It's really driving. It's too much. It's too much. And this is also a good way of actually using your eyes and your ears together to see what you can kind of work with. Now, of course, it's an extreme example, but I'm going to bring it down. So now it's more round. I get that. It just gives it a little bit extra sort of drive and sort of punch. With and without it. Really, really cool. And I've got a slight little click at the beginning of that on purpose. So with a sub bass, sometimes if you make the attack too soft, by the way, it's going through contact. If I make it too soft, then it just sort of waves in, and then that's not a bad thing. Sometimes you kind of just want a smooth sub, but I want it to have a clicky sort of jungle punch attack, and this is what we did way back then, and it's easy to do now. We can either put a click at the beginning of it, or you can just change the shaping, or you can put an envelope shaper on it, or many other techniques, and it just gives it that little punch from the beginning, that attack from the beginning, which adds impact as it's rolling around with a breakbeat. Really, really cool. And then that finally is going to this Black Valve, another Cubase plugin, a new plugin, one of those tucked away cool plugins that can be used for anything. But I think I found personally for like leads and basses and mid-range sort of material as well, it's great for driving. It's got like a nice analog kind of sound. I've lots of analog gear here, and it's really, yeah, it's definitely comparable to that. So drive mode, game mode, peak reduction, where we're actually going to bring the ceiling down and control all the peaks. We have a dry and wet mode, which is a parallel processing, mixing, imparting the wet with the dry for drive. And then we have the output to then either attenuate or to do gain staging or to really boost it if we've controlled it and we're missing a bit of loudness. So really cool. Just a nice bit of peak reduction there, with and without. And I have to then control it a bit more by bringing the peaks down and make it a bit wet. So that's crushing a lot of life out of it. So if it was too unruly, I could do that. But again, be mindful that you're changing the shape. So always in moderation with stuff like this. With the peak reduction, I just want it to just clip in. So it's just taking off maybe anything that might be just clipping over. Like that. And there you go. That is my fat jungle bass plugin chain in Cubase 15, with and without again for one more time. Really, really good. Okay, so there's a respace, which is just in between all that, filling in the gaps. Listen to them both together. In context, that reads. So that's like a nice respace that supplements. So you have the lows, and then you have the mid-range as well. So the two doing two different things. I think people call it I think people call it call and response. But anyway, so here we go with the Reese. Let's listen to that on its own. So in the Reese chain, if I open the edit channel, we can see here. So really simple one this, but without these plugins, it's not happening. So without, so you can hear it's quite murky, quite dark sounding. And with a Reese, you want it to have that sort of 1K sort of punch through, that kind of that ringing sound, as well as having that low mid sound as well. As you can see here, I've got a little dip at 100 as well, so that obviously the kick's going to be in there, so I don't want it clashing with that. So really simple, this one chain. I have the kilohertz reverb. I can't remember how I got this. I think it was part of a package for Black Friday and they give me some plugins, or I bought it with something else and it came with something else. But either way, it's readily available if you go on the Kilohertz site. Really simple interface, really simple GUI. Does exactly what it's supposed to do. With a respace, you kind of want it to have that kind of sort of wall of sound. You want it to have that kind of, yeah, like it's big in there, So you get the sort of tonal elements out of it, and that's what I've done there with the room size. You know, I've just did the virtual room size, there you go, which simulates different convolutions. Okay, that's going then into Mixbox. A big shout out to the IK Multimedia chaps. So this is a great plugin as well. So this is like your own custom lunchbox sort of 500 rack unit series. You can mix and match many different types together, tons of different modules, come up with your own flavor, your own box, your own lunchbox, and then just save it. So this is really good. So I've got it going through the distortion module, into the digital reverb module, into the tape echo. So I'm driving it, I'm adding some more reverb, more wall of sound, more bigness, and then it's got a slight little type of tape echo, but just adding a little bit of delay to everything. That's what I'm after. So there, it's getting the sound now, but it's missing a bit of the cleanup and a bit of the power and clarity, and this is where this comes in now. So I've also added another mix box, so you get two now. So I've stacked them together with the same presets, just slightly tweaked a little bit differently. And that gives me even more power. That's if you really want to go nasty. But I'm going to use one for now. Going into frequency EQ, and here I've got, this is a great EQ. I've done a video on it. If you want to check out my previous videos where I've gone in depth on a full tutorial all the way through it, masterclass on it. But yes, brilliant surgical EQ, fully transparent, can do mid-side, can do left and right, can do everything. So, as well as EQ by key. So some cleanup here. This isn't really needed because there's a lot of sub in this region. I boosted between 5 and 100 and 2 and 5, where you get that kind of sharp ringing, and it just cleans up this reese a bit more. Yeah, that's nice. Like, really cutting in now. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want it to do. Okay, that's then going into the drama. The drama is, you know, it does what it says. It's the classic master processor, but it's a compressor, really. It's in rack form. This is the soft tube version. It's really good. And I think this was also I think it was a freebie. I'm trying to think how, or it came with some hardware or something. But if you look on the Softube site, they've always got sales on, and it's really, yeah, it's quite affordable, this one. But it's just great. It can do so many things. Great on vocals, great on basses, kicks, snares, and you have default presets where it's already dialed in for you. And it's actually on the clarity module at the moment to give me more clarity. I can drive it more. So then you get a really, you know, sometimes when you get a bass and everything's perfect, mid-range is great, low mid's great, it needs more clarity, and you're EQing and the EQ band's just way too high, and it's like, it's undoable. This is the perfect plugin for this. I can actually just dial in clarity, boost the clarity by how much percentage I want, and it really cuts things through the mix. On a resound, it's absolutely perfect, because that's what you're trying to do, as well as having my favorite knob, the wet and dry knob, which is parallel processing. Really nice sound, great plugin. Yeah, and so check them out. Big shout out to Softube. Right, in a call and response context. And there you go. And that is my bass processing for this track and in general. So this is what will get you the big sound. This is what you'll get you a fat jungle sound. This is a nice launch pad and starting point. Oops. This is a nice launch pad and starting point for you as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you next week. Peace.